Day 1. Burn the backup plan. From hustler to builder, today is the line in the sand. This is where the old version of you dies. The version who wanted to be an entrepreneur, who dabbled, who hesitated, who hoped. And in its place, something entirely new is born. Someone who builds on purpose, with precision, with power. Let's begin with the truth most people run from. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. If you want to build a business that is world-class, not good, not surviving but elite, you cannot act your way there. You must become someone else entirely. And that starts today. Let's talk about identity. The truth about freelancers. You see, most people in the creative and marketing space start out as freelancers. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the on-ramp to entrepreneurship. But what's dangerous is staying stuck in that lane. Let me paint the difference for you. The freelancer asks, how do I get more clients? How do I make more this month? How do I prove I'm worth it? They trade their time for money. They wear every hat. They are constantly shifting between survival and burnout. And worst of all, their identity is rooted in being hired. The entrepreneur? They ask, how do I build a machine that prints value? What needs to exist to make this scalable? Who do I need to become to lead this at the next level? They don't build around income. They build around systems, around impact, around legacy. You can't operate like both. Imagine two people on a boat. One is patching leaks with duct tape every few minutes. That's the freelancer, reacting, improvising, surviving. The other is in the engine room, building a motor that will power the ship for decades. That's the entrepreneur. Here's the problem. You've been in both rooms. You've been patching and building. That ends today. Because to build anything meaningful, you must stop reacting and start engineering the identity shift. This isn't about branding, or time management, or productivity hacks. It's about deciding who you are, the person you've been until now. They've been surviving, searching, hoping, sometimes even doubting. But now, you are stepping into the identity of a builder, a strategist, a force. You don't need someone to hand you a permission slip anymore. You're not waiting for a signal. The signal is you. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus, you are the system. Most people think systems are things outside of them, CRMs, automations, team structures. But the first system, the most important one, is you. Your thoughts, your inputs, your habits, your self-talk, your standards. If you are undisciplined, your business will reflect it. If you are insecure, your business will reflect it. If you are unclear, your business will reflect it. So the work begins with mastering the internal systems before you even touch the external ones. A true story, the $5,000 empire. Let me tell you about Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She started with $5,000. All she had in her bank account. No background in fashion, no connections, no plan B. She cold called Hosiery Mills. She walked into Neiman Marcus with a prototype and convinced the buyer to try it on, in the bathroom. Why did she succeed? Because she had something most people never develop: certainty in the absence of evidence. She wasn't trying to build a brand. She had already decided she was the founder of a brand that would change the world. And then she showed up every day to prove herself right. That's how entrepreneurs think. They don't wait for success to give them identity. They create identity, and success follows them. Rewrite your operating code. Let's rewrite your internal OS right now. These are no longer affirmations, they are facts. And if you repeat them long enough, your brain will build a new architecture around them. I am the architect of my business, not the laborer. I do not chase money. I build value that money chases. I do not trade time for survival. I build assets that scale. I do not react to life. I design it. I am not waiting to be chosen. I choose myself every day. I play the long game, even while others beg for breadcrumbs. Say this slowly. Pause after each one. Let them sink in, because these are not just thoughts. They are commands. You are programming your future. The real work is boring. Let's talk about discipline. People love the idea of being a visionary, but most visionaries are just people who did the boring things long enough to become undeniable. Amazon didn't look like a world changer in 1996. Tesla was laughed at for years. Even Walt Disney went bankrupt before Mickey made it. Every entrepreneur you admire became great because they earned the right to think long-term, while others stayed addicted to short-term wins. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear. The boring stuff: building SOPs, documenting client onboarding, writing down your thinking, tracking your metrics. That's what builds the machine. Not just charisma, not just hustle. The big lie of hustle culture. You've probably heard, just keep grinding and it'll all work out. No, that's a trap. Hustle without strategy is just a treadmill. You run hard, but never move forward. What you need is leverage. That starts by building systems that don't depend on you being awake, turning your offers into products, not just proposals, learning to say no to anything that doesn't scale or excite. Because here's the brutal truth. If your business falls apart the moment you take a day off, you don't have a business. You have a job you built yourself. And let's get vivid. The entrepreneur version of you, the one we're building, how do they operate? They don't roll out of bed and check Instagram. They rise early, not for a productivity contest, but because they respect the game. They journal, not to be spiritual, but to be clear. They block distractions like a CEO guards their boardroom. They train their mind like a weapon: books, mentors, silence, reflection. They show up on offense, not defense. They build daily, not when it feels good, daily. That's who you are now. Your assignment for today: write a letter from your future self. Imagine yourself 2 years from now, with the business humming, the brand built, the systems working. What does that version of you say to the one sitting here now? Write it out loud, no filters. Destroy a limiting belief. Find one belief you've carried that can't survive in this next version of you. Burn it, literally, if you want to, and replace it with a new one. Say it out loud. Build one microsystem today. Choose one thing in your business that drains your energy. Maybe it's sending client proposals. Maybe it's content posting. Build a template, automate it, turn it into a repeatable process. This is how you escape the hustle trap. One system at a time. Final words. You are no longer a person trying to build something. You are an entrepreneur now, full stop. Not when you hit a revenue goal. Not when your branding feels perfect, now. And from this moment on, every decision you make must flow from that identity. Because what you tolerate becomes your standard. What you repeat becomes your reality. And what you believe becomes you. So decide, are you here to dabble? Or are you here to dominate? Welcome to day 1.